Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
I'm laughing because I just saw Declan's retweet of Ben Lieber from right before the show started, where Ben Lieber, former Viking, you can find him on Twin Cities Live also, 5 Eyewitness News. He said, Atlanta failed to adapt to what Kirk does best. To which Declan retweeted, that's what my therapist told me. The same thing about the ex-girlfriends failed to adapt to old ex tweets.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What happened.
Sorry, gals. Do better next time.
Yeah.
When you got
do better next time. Now I got a
mustache
perfect
prize
marriage.
in front of you.
Now I got a perfect. Gets the best out of me. She understands the things I don't do very well. Sometimes I still do those things, but she still coaches me up to be a better person.
She calls a play action pass once in a while. You know.
Yeah. Yep. Sometimes I still shovel pass. You know, I'm in fear. I'm in trouble, and I still shovel past that ball when I shouldn't.
She put you in pistol.
You know. Yeah.
Don't put me in the pistol formation. She's like, you're going in pistol formation.
You don't have the
I
velocity
think the real story here on X, Hubbard on Hubbard crime.
It is.
I mean,
yeah,
poor Ben.
It is Hubbard on Hubbard.
Hubbard
crime.
employee and Declan, Hubbard employee.
We all crap on each other. We do Hubbard on Hubbard crime sometimes.
I don't
It's
usually
not
do
quite
TV.
Ryan Clark on Aaron Rodgers and Pat McAfee, ESPN on ESPN crime, but
I'm just saying. We often don't do that with our TV brethren. I'm very impressed.
I just want to say it's not about the benching. It's what the benching represents for me personally. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Sam Darnold's having a hell of a year.
Sam Darnold is having a hell of a year. Quick Trip is having a hell of a year, too. Always. Just top-notch service, quality, everything.
Every single year, Quick Trip is outstanding. Quick Trip brings it. You know what? Quick Trip never gets benched. In fact, they are 1 through 10 in your rankings of convenience stores because they're the one convenience store that's really a grocery store. I mean, if you're watching this right now, you're saying, Sports Dad, that's a grocery store, right? I mean, the Karuba coffee, all of the choices. We're going to see pizzas here. And I'm going to tell you, no, it's not. It's Quick Trip, which makes your life as simple as possible.
Cute
also,
pizzas.
Don't forget, delicious pizza. Also, don't forget that you can give the gift of Quick Trip. Guys, if you are looking for a quick holiday gift, I've got it for you. Quick Trip gift card. Pick one up in the store or online at quicktrip.com/gift cards.
Also, let's say you have a highly priced but old and sort of fading TV, and you're looking for a new TV to spark things for your home. That's where Roku comes in with their new lineup of smart TVs. Roku is America's #1 streaming platform. And now with these new TVs, it's all in one. That's what the Mackies saw this coming with our old TV.
Yeah, you adapted.
Yeah. We cut the old TV off before the age cliff, and we grabbed that new 65-inch Roku Pro Series 4K TV that is great for football viewing, especially with college football playoff this weekend, NFL playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with Roku, the games you want are all in one place. There's a sports tab where you can just browse all of the live and upcoming games. Just a great TV. Roku.com to learn more or shop at a retailer near you. It's a Write That Down Wednesday here, which means we go on the record and show you just exactly how wrong we are on a regular basis because we're the only show in America that actually keeps track of our predictions with statistics. So we do this football version here on Purple Daily, and then we have the OG version that goes back like 10 years on Minnesota Sports with Mackie and Judd. But here's how the Purple Daily version works. 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. Those are the parameters. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns. And listeners, if you want to be like Bobby and you want to participate as a guest predictor, you can send Declan a message through the Score North app. Also a quarterback cesspool challenge later on in the show here.
Oh, boy.
But let's start with the accountabilities here, boys. A lot of stuff coming off the board here.
Okay, all right.
The season runs from Super Bowl to Super Bowl, so we are just weeks away from the finish line. Judd, kind of a mixed bag here. We'll start with the bad. You said the Steelers would beat the Eagles and the Bills would beat the Lions on Sunday.
Yeah, I should have just gone with one of them. I should have just gone with that.
That's the breaks, baby.
Yep, exactly right. Exactly right. I swung for the fences. Or I threw a deep ball.
Yep. You said the Lions will win exactly the Vikings will win exactly 2 of their next 3 home games, starting with the Cardinals. Negative. No faith.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
They won
I
all
do
3.
apologize.
And then you said Week 17 Vikings-Packers will be flexed to a Sunday night game. Well, yesterday the NFL put out the Week 17 schedule. It's a noon game.
Yeah, so
keeping it noon.
So Seifert tweeted this, that they could still change it to a 3:25 game by next Tuesday.
Yeah.
But what I did not know was when they decided to jumble the instead of, Fox has the NFC package and CBS has the AFC. They basically, when they gave CBS the Vikings Packers, that forfeited their right to take away Vikings Packers from Fox.
Okay.
Little known rule at the time. I did not know. So I was so I mean, it's really, if you look at it, this prediction, not my fault. It's somebody else's fault. It's not my fault.
No, it was.
Sports Dad's defenders will say that too.
Does the Sports
you can't
Dad
blame
have
God?
a bunch of crusaders that are?
You can't blame Sports Dad. You can't blame Sports Dad. How was he supposed to know? What was he supposed to do?
I would love it if you had a roving gang of internet defenders that no matter what, no matter how clear the evidence that you are incompetent at your job or too highly paid, they will rush to your defense. You did say Bill Belichick will be coaching or an executive in 2024, but not with the Patriots. And this is how you play the game, folks.
Yep.
You leave it open.
I was just going to say.
You did not say
Coaching.
NFL.
Coaching.
Yep. And what's funny about that, I never thought about what I was doing at the time.
Right.
You didn't think Bill Belichick would go to like the fifth best school in the ACC?
No, I was never thinking, you know what, he might coach college football.
The memes are hilarious, like him in his little crew neck UNC hoodie.
Oh, the whole thing is hilarious.
Just sign the paper.
Just sign the damn paper.
Just sign it.
So 1 for 4 there for Judd.
Yep.
Finally,
Wow.
a great week for old Macadac. This has just been a slog this season. We'll start with the bad. I said Bill Belichick would get a head coaching job in the NFC East. I guess I didn't put an end date on it, but the rules are it resets once he gets the next job. So I told you Will Reichert, Will the Thrill, Big Leg Bill would have at least 5 50-plus yard field goals made in 2024.
Very nice.
I told you the Vikings would lead the Bears by at least 20 points on Monday night. A little touchdown there. And I was one of the only voices in the entire world that told you the Vikings would make the playoffs in 2024 before the season.
Very
finally,
nice.
a couple of touchdowns.
I wanted to, but I forgot, so it's not my fault. So it's not my fault. What am I supposed to do? I just forgot. Okay.
I just work here. I don't know.
Here's the problem. I was
What
gonna
predictions
make
represent.
my prediction on a Tuesday, but then I'm like, Sports Dad, you take this day off, and then I forgot on Wednesday morning.
Yeah. Do you think the best joke that I saw last night was that this news is circulating on a Tuesday? It's too bad that Kirk won't find out until he gets to the facility on Wednesday.
Saw that.
Oh man. Okay, listeners.
Whoa.
We'll start with the bad here. Mike said Sam Darnold will throw at least 2 touchdown passes as part of a parlay. Matt said the Lions will win the next. It's supposed to be say will win the next 2 games, starting with the Packers. They did beat the Packers, but then they lost to the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jason said the Vikings will be drafting the offensive rookie of the year in this year's draft. I think we can take this off the board. I mean, McCarthy not playing all year. Trying to think if there's any dark horses here in the last 2 or 3 weeks that could score 10 touchdowns.
No,
Probably not. Okay.
You're safe.
And then AJ said the Bears will win 8 games or fewer in 2024. Mathematically, he is correct.
Wow, that's incredible because what they were 4 and something going into
2.
Washington, right?
4 and 2.
4 and
4 and
2.
2.
Yeah, that's incredible. Oh,
And do they have 4 wins still?
Yes.
yeah,
Right?
they've lost 8 consecutive games
Yes.
now.
That is correct.
Oh, man. That's hilarious. And then TikTok Dustin said Aaron Jones will play more than 10 games this season.
Very nice.
All right. Couple things for Declan. You said Sam Darnold would account for at least 3 touchdowns against the Bears. But you did say the Vikings would, it was a 7-point spread. They'd win by at least 10 over the Bears. And they did. So here are the updated statistics with just, 7 weeks left in the regular season. Declan, 40.3% completions. Judd, 34. I'm at 32.5. Listeners at 28%. Listeners leading the touchdown category with 12. You guys each have 11. And I've gone from 2 up to 7 in the last month. So we're gaining some ground there. But.
Very, very hot.
And then career, old Macadac retook the all-time touchdown lead with 53 to Declan's 52, listeners 51, Judd with 44. Declan leads with a 37% completion percentage, just a tick under 35 is Judd. I'm at 33%, listeners 23.5. Those statistics, career going back to 2021. So building up quite the database. Let's get Bobby in here, jumping in on Write That Down. Bobby, what's going on, man?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
It's going pretty well.
Excellent.
12-2 football team.
Yeah, right. It's awesome.
Kind of fun to follow. Yeah, give us your background as a Vikings fan. Tell us your story.
Well, my dad was a Vikings fan, and when I was a kid, my grandparents were farmers outside of Austin, Minnesota, and they were Vikings fans until they retired to Wisconsin, where they became Packer fans. So we quickly disassociated ourselves with them, and but I've been a Vikings fan my entire life. I have a little brother, Lucas, who we've gotten him. Sorry, my phone's going off.
Is that Dwight saying idiot from The Office? That's awesome. As an Office P1, that is a phenomenal ringtone.
That is my ringtone. Sorry, it's on.
Love that.
But no, so my little brother Lucas, we got him on board, so he's a big Vikings fan. So that's pretty much it. 98 season, fell in love with it, obviously. Remember the Warren Moon years and everything, but yeah, just a lifelong Vikings fan.
I feel like the Warren Moon years were actually kind of fun. They brought in this guy that was one of the best quarterbacks in the league to kind of wind down his career. Yeah.
Well, it's consistent as well. That was you're always going to be competitive in playing. So
you talk about a cannon for an arm too.
Right.
And then he always had like the flak jacket. I feel like he was always very padded up.
Yeah,
he didn't want to break those brittle 40-year-old ribs.
Too old. It can't be
too old.
It's too old.
Can't be taking hits in the pocket. He's too old. So we're going to start with Bobby, over to Judd, back to Declan, and then I'll round it out here. 3 trips around the room. So, Bobby, you are under center or in shotgun, whatever formation, Wildcat.
He's in pistol. It's not his fault. If his prediction's wrong, it's not his fault. He's in pistol. He's not supposed to be in pistol.
Exactly. I have bad knees like Kurt, so it's fine.
Yeah.
So I did ask my little brother Lucas. He wanted to give a prediction, so he was going to say this is not to write that down. I had to make some qualifications on it, but he wanted to say that the Chiefs were going to get knocked out early in the playoffs. And I like to sports bet. And one of the things I found to be true over the last 5 years is that when the Chiefs go down, put money on the Chiefs. Usually works out pretty well. But I think this time in the playoffs, it will not be that way. So write that down. The Chiefs will not cover a single playoff game throughout the playoffs.
Wow.
Oh,
so they could get knocked out early. They could win the Super Bowl.
I love
any of those games.
Yeah, that's fair.
I love that.
That's how you play the game too. You leave yourself an out if they.
You go the betting angle. That's very
good. Because if they lose first round, obviously they're going to be favored. So,
I like that.
The both can come true.
Where Bobby's going here. All right, Judd.
Write this down. Kirk Cousins will be a starting quarterback for an AFC team next season. So Kirk Cousins will be a starting quarterback for an AFC team next season.
Do you have any off the record inklings or predictions?
There's a few. The Raiders, perhaps, depending on what they do. They're so dysfunctional. I could see them they should take Shadur Sanders if they can. But the problem is this draft, if they don't get that, this draft is not. It's not like 2024. The other one I thought of just because this team is such a dumpster fire, and I don't know if he's back. The Jets.
Oh man, because they were kind of the runner up back 7 years ago.
They outbid the Vikings, and he leveraged them. He used them completely to get to Minnesota.
And his next. I mean, he's like this year's Russell Wilson, then, right? Where
yes,
everyone's kind of worried that he's cooked and too old. based on what happened. Like the team benched him, and some of it was for contract reasons. So he would then enter bridge quarterbacks, like official cheap bridge quarterback status with somebody, and he has offset language.
That's the thing. Atlanta will be paying him. He's going to be released, and Atlanta's going to have to swallow hard and take a huge cap hit like the Broncos did, because he's not going to he's going to do nothing to help the Falcons. So he's going to make them eat this whole thing. It's going to be glorious.
Yeah, it's the funny thing too is because he's going to be a free agent. They're either going to the smart sort of like cap people, the Andrew Brandts and even some of the NFL like the Pelisseros and the Rappaports, the insiders are saying the best move, because if the Falcons just cut him before March 1st, they'd have to eat like a $65 million dead cap hit for 2025, and they're trying to win. They're like in a win window.
Yep.
So what they could do is cut him before March 15th, designate him as a post June 1st. You can do that with two different players.
Right.
And they'd spread this massive cap penalty over 2 years. But no matter what, you are eating a ton of dead cap space for a guy that played 14 games or whatever it was.
And now a guy that's going to go out. I mean, he's going to make their life as difficult as possible, because that's how he operates.
He's also going to be competing in air quotes with Sam Darnold for the quarterback musical chairs free agency game. Now Darnold's going to get more money.
I was going to say that's the thing
but there's like 6 quarterback needy teams and maybe only 2 first-round guys. They're both going to be on the.
But the offset means that the offset that I would guess that is in his Falcons contract that was in Wilson's Broncos contract actually means that he'll probably take a very small base salary from his new team. Yep. Because that then forces the Falcons to pay as much as possible. Like the Broncos are paying the huge majority of Wilson's contract.
Yep.
So he'll screw him. He did once. He'll screw him again.
This is crazy that nobody foresaw this disaster coming down the pipeline.
It's not their fault. It's not our fault. It's not my fault.
Dex, your first prediction.
All right, I'll make a time prediction for Vikings Lions. So that is a TBD. All the games in the final week of the season are to be determined. There could be on Saturday. They could be on Sunday. There was a handful of games played on Saturday last year. But write this down. The Vikings Lions game will be played at 3 p.m. Central Time or later. So it won't be a noon game. It won't be a nooner. It won't be a 1 o'clock game. It'll be a 3 p.m. kickoff Central Time or later. It'd be hilarious if I just said 3 p.m. and it's 3 p.m. in the East Coast, something I want a technicality. No, I'm not going to be that guy. But it'll be a 3 p.m. or later game, Saturday or Sunday. Right.
I would have to think that if they are playing for the division and the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't want to tell you how to do this, but I would have liked to have seen you nut up just a little bit. And say
I agree. Like the 3 p.m. thing is like, you were building up to like a.
Well, I mean,
it's 4th and 8. Right now, It's the final play, and you just checked it down.
Yeah.
3. In fact, it's fitting.
That was a
3 p.m. 3 yards
prediction for sure. Yeah.
It was
3 p.m. 3
I have 11
yards.
touchdowns too, and 1 off the lead. But yeah, no, I'll pad this a little bit. That's fine. Yeah, absolutely. I'm good.
He's lashing out.
Oh yeah, no.
It would have been more entertaining for the show had you gone Sunday Night Football there.
Up here.
Yeah. Well, with those new headphones, I'm surprised. I mean, you've got like 18 of them now.
What's that? Can't hear.
That's
Okay.
fine. Taking shots at our employees. Poor Ben.
Fighting with Ben Lieber on Twitter, lashing out.
I'm not fighting. I'm just pointing out what happened to me and my therapist. It happened to wait to Kirk Cousins.
Hubbard employee of the year, as far as I'm concerned, and you're ripping him. That's all I got to say.
I'm relating.
I'm out.
Okay, write this down. So I'm assuming Declan of all people saw this news yesterday. Now that Teddy Bridgewater has conquered the high school coaching ranks, so he goes in, just immediately wins a blowout win in the state high school championship.
Love Teddy.
So this would have been Florida, right? This was the
Miami Northwestern alma mater.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's some good high school football down there in Florida, and he wins the state championship as a coach. And he's only 32 years old, and he has now strongly hinted, I think it was on NFL Network, but he is strongly hinting that he wants to make a comeback to the National Football League. He said, we'll see how the next week and a half, 2 weeks play out. Might be a signing with a team. Oh, like this year even. Might be a signing with a team and then returning back to coach high school football in February. So we'll see. but he's got the itch to come back to the NFL. So here's my prediction. Write this down.
Write that down.
Before it's a long-term prediction. Before the end of the 2026 calendar year, the Vikings will acquire either or Teddy Bridgewater or Kirk Cousins. Kirk and or Teddy, sometime before the end of 2026, will be a Viking once again. Write it down.
O'Connell's dream, 53 men all dressed in red.
All with their little
Just
quarterback,
a
their
53-man quarterback
vests on.
roster. Nothing but quarterbacks. His dream, he dreams about this day where it's nothing but dudes in red jerseys.
And that graphic that they put up on Monday night, instead of it being 4 quarterbacks, 5, there's just 15, 20. They're all kind of they're all either over the hill or reclamation projects.
Can save them all.
Write that down.
Yeah. By the way, I think Teddy and KOC would be a great match, right? Like leadership, camaraderie, just kind of gravitational pull personalities. Yeah. Could see that. And I would not rule out if Kirk, because he's going to face sort of 2 options to Judd's point earlier. Hey, go be a bridge quarterback with complete uncertainty going into training camp. You probably get beat out by a rookie or something, but like go compete somewhere and just maybe go somewhere else the year after. Or come to terms with the fact you've made $300 million playing football. You are banged up, you're old, but you still have something to offer in a quarterback room. Transition to a backup. Joe Flacco did it. There's a bunch of guys. Josh McCown, like he was mostly a backup anyways. But if he mentally transitions to backup status, I could see the Vikings trying to bring him back behind J.J. McCarthy next year.
Oh, boy.
It'd be kind of a circus because if McCarthy played poorly, there'd be a huge faction of people that,
I don't think the Vikings, I think O'Connell might entertain that. I don't think the people who allowed Kirk to walk out the door would.
Because you'd rather have like a Daniel Jones, somebody that you could build back up,
Kirk
and then they
you.
go sign, you get a comp pick from somewhere.
Prodigal son ain't coming back. Kirk left you. You know, he walked out
I
that
agree.
door.
I wouldn't touch it. I'm just saying. It wouldn't shock me.
I think he's toxic, so.
Write that down.
But what do I know?
Back to Bobby.
So before the season started, I made a bet with my buddy who's a Raiders fan, where we were talking about the AFC West versus the NFC North, and I was just saying like, hey, you know, I think the NFC North is going to be pretty competitive, and he's like, oh, it's not going to be anywhere close to the AFC West, and because he's a boisterous Raiders fan, of course. So, so I'm like, all right, I'll make a bet. I bet the NFC North will have a better winning percentage than the AFC West going into the season. And not only am I winning that bet, but the NFC North is on a historic pace. So they have the best winning percentage of any division in NFL history right now. Wow. And with only 3 games to go, the number they have to beat is 656. I think it was the 2013 NFC West that holds that. But write this down. The NFC North will finish with the best winning percentage in NFL history.
Yeah. So the NFC West, that would have been like Seahawks.
Yeah.
Were the Niners? The Niners were kind of, that was post Jim Harbaugh Niners. I'm trying to think. Were the Rams with Jeff Fisher maybe?
What year was it?
Or would it have been like the 11 or 12?
It was the 2013.
13. Yeah. Well, I guess the Niners did go. The Niners. Yeah, he was still there.
That was
13.
Yeah. Okay. So it was and there was also another article, I'd have to find it here again, but they basically were talking about like the top divisions in NFL history. Like there are 5 that have been on this pace before, and 4 out of the 5 have won the Super Bowl. And the one that didn't was the Eagles, who lost to the Chiefs. Just
iron sharpens iron.
Yep.
Exactly. I think that's in the article.
Just so if the Vikings do this, the game is the 9th of February, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll probably have to block out vacations for the entire state from the 9th through the what's the end of
till training
that
camp.
Week,
At
at least, if not 2
6
weeks
months
off.
Training camp.
So like plan on being bosses, plan on your employees not showing up for the majority of the month of February.
Exactly.
So I love Phil's Teddy prediction, so I'm going to make one as well, and I'm going to spin it in a different way, but I'll use the same time period. Before the end of 2026, Teddy Bridgewater will be in a coaching role either in Division I college football or the National Football League.
Yeah.
So it could be an assistant. I see him as probably starts off as a QB coach, ascends to an OC, and then we go from there. Because I think he's a really intelligent dude, and I mean his career was not long, like as a starter, obviously for unfortunate circumstances. But like you look at his knowledge and like what he's gone through for a quarterback, I think it's incredibly. It's KOC like in a very different way because Teddy had the talent to play, he just got hurt. But I could see him being a very successful coach.
Well, yeah, he also think about some of the people he has spent time with offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
Like Mike Zimmer in terms of across the other side of the ball. Mike Zimmer defensive, you got to see all that. He spent time under Sean Payton for a couple years, one of the great offensive minded guys in New Orleans. So and then was he I think he was with Mike McDaniel for a minute in Miami
Dolphins.
too.
Yep.
Yeah, he played against
Shanahan.
Vikings. Yeah,
Yep.
You're right.
And
So-
then Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson with the Lions last year. So he's been around some really interesting
And plus, he's
cultures.
got that it factor too, that gravitational pull for people. So, could see him being a very successful coach.
Yeah, okay.
Write this down.
The Dexter.
I'll just one up the I'll add to the Teddy prediction. I have to make a Teddy
here we
prediction. If you two are making a Teddy prediction,
your guy.
why not? Love Teddy. So the Vikings will hire Teddy Bridgewater by the start of 2026 week 1.
Okay.
So they'll hire Teddy Bridgewater between now and the next year and a half, 2 years.
So, I mean, I think I know. I'll just ask this: the word hire, because he's 32. What if he is signed to play backup quarterback?
No.
Does the word hire apply? We're hiring him as a
Hiring.
backup, so as a
As a
non-player.
coach. Yep, as a coach. I
So
think
you're
I
sa-
think that's
So you're
the
saying,
factor.
like, for instance, the quarterback's coach leaves because
Yeah.
he becomes a hot commodity.
Yep.
KO is searching around for a guy to fill that role. I like it.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Write this down.
You know, since we're pushing stuff out into the future, someone brought this up last week on maybe it was Feedback Friday. So here's my next prediction. Write this down. Netflix will do a head coach related docuseries sometime before the end of the 2026 calendar year. So I'm assuming it would be under the umbrella of like how they did quarterback and receiver.
Sure.
But they will I'll just say this: news will break before the end of the 2026 calendar year, or it'll just be released before that period. That Netflix is doing a head coach docuseries.
Okay.
This started off with some speculation about, boy, there's like way more boom mics in the Vikings locker room for these KOC. I know he's become one of the best post-game locker room speech guys, but why do we need 5 boom mics in there? Is Netflix in there?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Although the crowd for the Monday night game was sparse, like that was a sparse crowd comparatively. It's like, okay, if the game ends at 11ish, guess what? All the kids go home and don't get to stand around there. I like it when it's sparse. I like it when it's just the players. I get
When you
tired of
like-
all these guys in suits giggling and
Oh,
smiling.
I got you.
It, like when KO's talking, and plus he's sort of pulling his punches now a little bit more. The F-bombs have gone down. He's trying to watch that, which I do not want him to.
He's referring to like the Saturday night session with a wink, like
Yeah.
that's the real speech.
That's where I just unloaded so many F-bombs. You guys were like, wow. You're right.
Have you guys? I think it just came out a couple days ago, but we are 2 episodes into the Aaron Rodgers Enigma docuseries on Netflix.
I will not be watching.
No, I'm
It's
kind of with.
it's fascinating. I will say.
I bet it is.
I don't like him, and I think
Yeah.
he is a raging narcissistic egomaniac. And all of those things are even more pronounced, I feel like, after 2 episodes. But it is a really fascinating glimpse at this
His
this
appearance,
figure, Aaron Rodgers.
his appearance on the McAfee show was something. That was it
Do you
frustrates.
care to elaborate?
Well,
I didn't-
his whole thing about pushing back on Ryan Clark and talking about your vax status and stuff, and but the problem is the McAfee show doesn't push back because they I guess can't, which sort of runs
well,
to
but nobody can push
right.
back.
But
against
what's
Rodgers.
unfortunate about that is like that whole show is about in some ways pushing back because
Dude.
like Pat McAfee. Like it would just be more fun if they sparred a bit, but they never do spar.
No, well, nobody can spar with him because any sort of sparring or pushback he takes as a personal attack.
Yeah.
And I'll just give you a couple snippets. He was like a good high school quarterback, and he was trying to get scholarships. Yet he wound up having to go JUCO because he wasn't getting Division I offers. And there was a school that had written him a letter saying, "Hey, we don't evaluate you on the level that we do some of the other players, so we're not going to give you a scholarship." And he said, and they cut to him in modern day, and he was like, and I literally took that as, "We don't want you, Aaron." And it was a personal attack at me. And he kind of said it with self-awareness. But then there was another scene, I think it was 8 or 9 weeks after he tore his Achilles tendon, and he's going through rehab. And he's got there's 2 doctors, there's the physical therapist, these professionals that are guiding him through this. And he's trying to push it. And he said he wanted to go back to the practice field week 11 or whatever after tearing his Achilles. And they're going through and saying, "Yeah, you're making amazing progress. We've never seen an Achilles heal at this rate," and they're placating him. But it's still going to take some time. And he was furious. He says, "Just so everyone in this room knows what's happening, I am going back to practice next week. What needs to happen in the next week?" He goes, just so everyone understands what's happening. And they cut to his doctor, and his doctor is just like, he doesn't know what to say. It's like, dude, you're going to try and come back 11 weeks after an Achilles? I'm a doctor telling you that's not physically possible. But that's him, man. Even an orthopedic surgeon can't push back at that guy.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Write this down.
All right. Good talk, everyone. Enough Aaron Rodgers. Back to the predictions. Bobby, you're up next.
So I have a Super Bowl prediction here. So the AFC and the NFC will be represented by the 2 seeds in the Super Bowl.
Oh, interesting.
So I've done some scenarios. Hopefully the Vikings, I know we want the 1 seed and everything like that, but there's a world where Philadelphia gets the 1 seed and then the Vikings can overtake the Lions and win the division, but still have the 2 seeds. So, but I will say that the 2 seeds will represent both the AFC and the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And is Buffalo currently the likely 2 seed in the AFC?
Right. And then there's a chance that if they overtake the Chiefs somehow, then the Chiefs are there. So but yeah, the 2 seeds will represent both the AFC and the NFC in the Super Bowl. Yeah.
All right. I love Bobby's analytical sort of market approach to these predictions.
I do like analytics. I like math. So, this is all fun stuff. So I've been trying to figure out the best ways to approach it, to try to give myself an out in case we need it.
No, you've done a good job of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But always trying to root for the Vikings in this situation as well.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Playing the game. All right, Bobby, since you've got this platform here, is there anyone you'd like to thank in your life that helped you get to this peak moment?
Well, of course, my dad for making me a Vikings fan. And then my little brother, Lucas, for, he's carrying the torch. My wife, she is a Packers fan, but she's very supportive. And then I have 2 buddies of mine. They're Chiefs fans, but they're very supportive. We do a podcast called This Could Be a Podcast. Check it out. But they do a really good job of rooting for the Vikings with me. And I, sit there and kind of when the Chiefs win, I take a little bit of joy from it. But knowing that you guys have said on the podcast before that the Chiefs not long ago were basically the Minnesota Vikings. So hopefully we get a generational talent in J.J. McCarthy and we can then be the Chiefs for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
But and then you guys as well. Thank you guys so much for putting out content so much. You make the off season really fun, and it's really nice to listen to the podcast all the time.
Thank you.
Awesome, man. Bobby, thank you for the kind words. Good luck with your predictions, and good luck with your wagers as well.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right, there he goes. Great stuff from guest listener predictor Bobby. Before we keep going here, let's talk about Underdog. Underdog, a great place to have extra fun watching football. Deck.
Yeah, there was even some extra little profit boost that came up for the NBA Cup last night. There's going to be sometimes other tokens that'll drop in randomly throughout the week of the NFL season. So if you're on Underdog, make sure you stay up to date on those. They'll just come in there for you. They'll give you alerts on them. And if you're a new user looking to sign up, promo code SCORE still gets you a 50% deposit match when you sign up with our promo code. That is SCORE. Love everyone that has signed up to Underdog. Appreciate everyone who has done so. And if you'd like to get on the action, promo code SCORE for a 50% deposit match.
Hey, Blackstack Brewing, which you can find their tap room inside a former Spam Can factory, kind of like edge of St. Paul, Minneapolis, and it's the second largest tap room in the state of Minnesota. They also have Blackstack beer inside U.S. Bank Stadium during Vikings games and available at your local liquor store everywhere in Minnesota, pretty much, and expanded distribution into Wisconsin, Nebraska, and South Dakota. That tap room is so awesome for just hanging out. They've got couches, comfortable chairs all over the place, massive, massive space with a 190-inch big screen TV as well, or not even a TV. It's like a projection, and they're showing sporting events, they're showing movies, food trucks, and pop-ups every day. Blackstackbrewing.com to find out more. And for those of you who are a little bit late trying to figure out what your holiday gift situation is going to be, maybe you haven't bought a gift for your mom or your spouse or whoever it is in your life, Woodhouse Spas could be a great place to get someone maybe a massage, maybe a facial, maybe a pedicure. Think about how happy your wife is going to be when you say, honey, I just got you a $200 gift card to a place with over 70 spa services. Well, that's great, honey. Are they located in the Twin Cities? Yes, Maple Grove, Woodbury, and Rosedale Center. Locally owned, woodhousespas.com. You can either walk into any of those three locations or go to woodhousespas.com to get a gift card. Last-minute shoppers, this could be it for you, woodhousespas.com. All right, back to Judley for his third and final prediction.
All right. We've talked about this, and I've convinced myself that there's a very good chance it's going to happen, so I might as well make it write that down. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah will be the NFL Executive of the Year.
Ooh.
He'll be named the NFL Executive of the Year, and might I enter into evidence that I think the Falcons' decision with Cousins only helps to increase those chances.
Yeah, I mean, 100%.
People are going to be like, oh, wow, you saw that coming.
He's been kind of great at that. It was one of Spielman's flaws near the end where he would go one contract too far or keep a guy around. I mean, Thielen's not totally cooked. Daniil's not cooked yet, but Kwesi's trying to be on the front edge of moving off some of these players near the age cliff, and he's made a lot of right decisions. And
Grenard, I think, is approximately 3 years younger than Daniil was. So, like, that trade in that sense made sense. And also, Grenard is a better schematic fit. The thing with Kirk, so unfortunately, Kwesi doesn't talk a lot to the media. I think he would talk more if that whole May of 2022 kerfuffle when the USA Today piece came out, where he basically said Kirk Cousins is not Tom Brady, which, you know, he got some pushback for, and I think he sort of clammed up after that. But that was a real a window into how he thinks, and he wasn't wrong.
Yeah,
like at the time we agreed. But like that quote, if you go back and read that quote, it's very much a reflection of, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep. Yeah,
he's good.
He kind of put his cards out there, and people are like, hey, you put your cards out there. Well, he's like, oh, yeah.
And then the team guy, I think the team's like, dude, don't be saying that stuff. And so
Stop putting your cards out.
But anyway, by putting his cards out there, he sort of gave us a little bit of a glimpse of what was to come.
Yep.
Write this down.
All right, Dex's final prediction.
All right, so I know he dropped one against the Bears. He was itching to get it really badly, so write this down. Harrison Smith will be involved in a turnover against Seattle. He'll either pick off a pass, fumble recovery, force a fumble too. We can obviously do that pretty well, but he'll be involved in a turnover against Seattle. Write it down.
Okay. It's hard to get a feel. So Geno Smith is apparently going to try and play in this game.
Yeah.
Is the latest, right?
I saw that.
Man, Seattle's got a couple rough options. Geno Smith at something less than 100%, or Sam Howell, who takes more sacks than anyone in NFL history.
Third possibility, God knows the Vikings very well.
Jaron Hall?
Jaron Hall.
Is he on their practice squad, or is he...
That I don't know.
How does that work?
That I don't know if he's on the 53 or not. But I couldn't resist the smart-ass comment.
Yeah. He does have some secrets, some inner workings, and some information for sure. Okay, write this down.
Write this down.
I think the Lions are going to lose their first playoff game. I saw a graphic today, and it's we talk about the defensive players that they're missing, and it's 13, now it's 16. And I saw a graphic this morning on ESPN that literally listed every single, and it filled up the entire screen.
Yes.
And it's a kicker, a running back, David Montgomery, and then like 16 defensive players all out.
Yes.
And they've given up almost, what is it, like 80 points combined the last 2 weeks?
Yes.
And you might be facing a Tampa or the Vikings, or just depending on, you're probably not going to face the Vikings your first playoff game, but I think they're ripe. And it's going to be, Lions fans they've had a lot of bad years over 50 years. What they haven't had a lot of, which is what Vikings fans have suffered with, are that season where you should have cashed in, but an injury happened or a devastating upset.
Yeah.
This is going to be that season for the Lions. Last year, too, kind of, because they had a 17-point lead in the NFC Championship game. But they're going to lose their first playoff game.
That's
Write
a
it
great
down.
prediction. Yep. And I do think that there's two things that the Lions are going to have to examine once their season is probably prematurely done, to your point. One is it a coincidence that you got 16 defensive players hurt? Like, is 16 bad luck, or are you doing something where you're pushing guys?
Yeah.
I'm not saying all 16. I'm saying 16 is a lot. And then the second thing is, and it's not surprising, but I think Dan Campbell's style is from day one of training camp, pedal to the metal, right? You're just going to push that thing. And, like, look at how KO manages, right? Like you got to manage a season. I don't think it can be that intensity day after day after day, or by the time the playoffs come, I think you might just be exhausted.
Yeah, they might. Yeah, it's possible they emptied the gas tank and peaked in like early November or something, and now guys are just the battle of attrition. So those are the Write That Down predictions here. The accountability session. Boys, last few minutes of the show, let's dive into a quarterback cesspool challenge.
Green 18! Green 18, dead! Everybody hold your water. What's that?
Where we look to celebrate bad quarterback play across the league. We look to identify the worst quarterbacks from week to week, and it's pretty simple. It's like a survivor pool kind of, too. So each member of the show drafts a quarterback we think is going to be bad for this upcoming week's games. Once you draft a quarterback, you can no longer use that quarterback again the rest of the season. We all must draft different quarterbacks every week. The scoring is very simple. It's QBR on a 0 to 100 scale. We're looking for the lowest QBR, and whoever has the lowest average QBR for the season wins. We'll get to the standings here in a moment. We had another situation this week. So Declan winds up edging out Judd here with Caleb Williams, a 25.3 QBR against the Vikings. Judd, you had Desmond Ridder substituting in because Aiden O'Connell wound up you drafted Aiden O'Connell.
Right.
But the rule is if that player doesn't play, you get his backup unless you've already used the backup. Well, you hadn't used Desmond Ridder. So Judd with another great score to continue his great run, a 27 QBR for Desmond Ridder. I took Spencer Rattler, who had an 80.8 QBR. Just went lights out toward the end of that game.
Yeah, because he didn't start.
No, he came in.
The dude that started was awful.
Yeah, and Spencer Rattler almost saved the day. So I got smoked
And
there.
Jameis.
Jameis was the worst quarterback in Week 15, a 3.6 QBR, just ahead of Kirk Cousins, who was like a 9 or a 5 or something. Pretty bad. Enough to get him benched. So Judd is leading the regular season average standings here with a 38.2 QBR on the season. I'm at 44.7. Declan 51.6. Judd was 7 weekly wins. Dex and I both have 4 apiece. So we're going to draft in reverse order of last week's results. So I get the number 1 pick this week. Judd, you get the number 2 pick. And Declan, first win in like 2 months for Dex. So we'll draft at the back here. I won't waste any time. I'm just gonna pick the Vikings defense here. I'm gonna take Geno Smith against the Vikings defense.
Very nice.
I know it's at Seattle and things get kind of weird, but I will take a less than 100% Geno Smith against the Vikings defense.
All right, I am going to, despite the fact that this guy is playing against a defense that's not good, I am going to put my hard-earned money on Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who is starting in place of Jameis Winston for the Browns against the Bengals. The Bengals, I mean, the Bengals aren't good defensively, but the Browns are just a quarterback mess right now, it feels like. And so So DTR out of UCLA, who I think the Vikings actually liked at one time, is my guy.
Yeah. Judd, by the way, on a run of 6 consecutive weeks with a QBR of 31 or worse. Nice run.
Feeling pretty good about this.
All right, so I have all three of my picks that I written down available here. So I know he hasn't been formally announced, but I don't think I would have to back into like a 75 because I haven't used any current Giants quarterback. So I'm going to take Tim Boyle.
Oh, man.
So he hasn't been formally announced as the starter. Dable did praise him for his performance. But with Locke injured, is DeVito like on IR? I know he was banged up too.
He was in concussion
or
protocol.
something.
Concussion. So like I'm either gonna get Drew Lock if Boyle doesn't go, or some guy off the street. Like I don't know who the options are. I think I used Daniel. Did I use Daniel Jones? When he was with the Giants?
Did not.
You
You've
did.
you've
You
not
didn't?
used.
No, I didn't use
he's
him.
used no Giants
Okay.
quarterbacks
So-
at all.
Regardless, I will get a Giants quarterback, but I'll formally put on the record Tim Boyle.
Okay.
Tim Boyle, man. He must be a really good guy behind the scenes. If you look at his career in college and in the NFL, it makes no sense how that guy is still playing NFL games. Must be great in the room.
Great in the room.
Water.
Keeps his mouth shut, probably.
Yeah. Just nods and smiles. And they put him in the game. All right, that's the quarterback cesspool challenge here, where we look to identify and celebrate really bad quarterback play every single week in the NFL. We will also hit you guys with the OG edition of Write That Down on Minnesota Sports with Mackie and Judd and the Score North YouTube channel. Trenches with Boone, a film breakdown. We broke down like 10 or 11 plays from that game on Monday night. A lot of really good stuff. Boone does a great job just explaining things that we would never see. The running game was gashing the Bears for portions there too. So check that out. It's a great visual. You can listen to it too, but it's a great visual on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Click that subscribe button and the like button. And we'll see you guys for a Thursday tomorrow too. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.